If you are looking to add a casting deck to your John boat or a V-hull boat, this is your video. From start to finish, I started filming this project back when there was no sheet metal, no aluminum, no angle, no nothing. There was no framing, no nothing. So in this video, we'll cover from start, post, subfloor being done, to now. So that covers your framing on the outside of the boat, the framing on the outside that's gonna make the shape of your front deck, to the cross pieces,
to the vertical supports,
to installing hatches. This will also cover finishing it out, doing the finishing touches with your sheet metal that's going to go on top of your deck. There's a gap here. That's going to be open for us to do wiring later. We'll cover that at the end. That's not the front deck, that is the bow of the boat.
Yep.
So this covers the front deck of the boat.
Yep. So we're going to go ahead and roll the footage.
Okay. But before we get started, guys, remember, if you enjoyed the video, hit like,
subscribe, comment, you know, give us some feedback. We love the feedback. And then you can do that again.
Be a little more excited. You sound like you're about to die of hunger.
I am about to die of hunger. You know, give us some feedback. We like the feedback. We like to interact with you guys.
Turn
what
on
you guys
notice.
like, what you guys want to see. So, without further ado, we're gonna get rolling.
Alright guys, right here you see us cutting our 1.5-inch angle. We're cutting it so we can fit it to the side of the boat where the boat's starting to round and have an angle to it. And then we're attaching it from the outside with rivets. Also right here, you'll see me grab the 10 snips once again. That's also to cut little pieces of the angle out. That way you can curve it and shape it properly to fit the contour of your boat. And this is how it should look once you're done attaching your angle for the side of your boat. The next step you're going to do is cut your pieces that are going to run from side to side that lay on top of your angle on the side of your boat. Action! Alright guys, now that we have this first piece cut, we are officially onto the front casting deck framing for the hatches. We are excited and ready to get rolling, so stay tuned. Alright, so we go back. Dude, it's finally coming together.
Yeah, but then we gotta put the stick legs up under the hatches. It's not gonna be fun. Alright, so what we're doing is trying to figure out if this is gonna work with our how we have it right now with our batteries. It's gonna be tight fit.
We're checking the height.
Yeah, checking the height. They fit size-wise on the hatch. It's the height. We may need to adjust a few things. With that being said, so what I'm gonna do, we have these capped off. So basically what we're gonna do, we got these covered with just some electrical tape. I just got some regular white silicone. I'm gonna actually just put some on each top, and we're gonna close the lid and see where it touches, or if it touches. Put one there. You just gotta have just enough. You don't need a lot, just enough so whenever you close it, if it touches, it'll leave residue on the lid. So we're gonna go ahead and shut this. My fingers here. That's it. We're gonna go here. No touching. That's how you can check. But we also, to help with, you know, not having an accident, like hitting a bump or something, we're actually gonna put like gator guard or something along those lines, similar, inside here.
It's gonna be EVA foam.
Yeah, an EVA foam inside, so that we don't have that issue.
All right, so let's see. So to recap, we've gotten 3 steps done so far. First step, over there with Matt, you'll see the outline of the framing. That was shown earlier in the video. That's gonna be your initial step to know where you want everything to go. Second step was to get your pieces that run side to side and your pieces that run front to back. All of your angle, once all of your angle is in, at that point, you're going to start running your vertical supports that are going to support your deck from, you know, from collapsing, keeping, you know, everything sturdy.
Yes.
And where it should be.
Yeah. Now, while you're doing that, though, you need to keep in mind, and already, either if you're making your own hatches, already have your hatches made, or if you're like ordering hatches, already have your hatches in. Like you already have received your hatches, you're in possession of your hatches. The reason why, though, is because when you put in your cross pieces, you need those because you can't.
You want to rough in everything.
Yeah, you want to rough in everything. And then we're in the step that we just finished. Is, well, I gotta put one rivet in and then it's done.
What Matt was talking about, having your hatches in place, if you noticed in the section of the video where it talked about where the batteries were in place, the hatch was open, the two pieces were run side to side for our angle. Those were ran after our hatches were in the shop.
Yes.
We put our hatch, we basically cut the pieces about the length we wanted it for the location we wanted the hatches, put them in, clamped them, dry fit them, and then put the hatch on top to make sure the hatch was going to fit and made sure it was where we wanted it to be.
Yes, made sure I had clearance for the battery so we're not electrocuting ourselves.
Yeah, so it's always good to have stuff you're wanting to install at a later time there ahead of time, so it helps you frame and prep for that moment. Yeah. So with that being said, the next step is attaching your vertical supports. I'm going to give you guys a closer look at that right now. Right meow. All right, going to give you guys a close-up of all the legs underneath.
So with the legs, you can't really go overboard on the legs. You definitely want to have more than not enough. The reason why, obviously, is because it is going to be supporting you, your fishing buddy, all your fishing gear, or
your dog,
or your dog,
your cat,
or if your cat likes to go fishing, or whatever. But you know, this is what's really the main supports to your casting deck. If you don't have enough, there's going to be soft spots. You could be, you know, what was I saying? Soft.
But Matt's going to grab the rivet and the rivet gun here. Yeah. He's going to show you real quick. So there's two ways, or preface it, there's two ways you can do your vertical supports when it comes to attaching them to the bottom of the boat.
Yep.
As you can see here, we have a main piece of 1.5 inch angle, which each leg is tied in at that point. However, in some spots you can't always get angle, so you can use a small piece of angle.
That we're also out of angle.
And attach them that way. So there's multiple ways you can do it, but in our circumstance, we're out of angle, so we're having to use small scrap pieces on a budget build. So Matt's going to install this one here.
Yeah, a budget build that turned into a bigger budget.
A forever growing budget build.
I actually like these.
There you have it. The deep ones?
Yep. And so, one thing I do want to, you probably noticed that these don't actually look straight when you were looking at them. The reason being is so the front of this boat right here severely comes up, like angles up. So we wanted it to be flush with the top.
We wanted it to be perpendicular.
Yes, we wanted, yeah,
with its angle.
So that's why it kind of looks like that. Just we might get a comment on it. We just wanted to clarify that.
You'll want to run at least 2, preferably 3 in the bottom. With this 1 inch angle, we didn't have enough room to run 3. It's not wide enough, but we got 2 in the bottom, 2 on the top. Matt's going to add 1 more on the top right there.
Yep.
And that's going to be your typical installation and prep when it comes to doing your vertical supports. So with that being said, we're going to roll into placing down the sheet metal, and we'll come back in a minute. Okay, now, I know what you're thinking. How many more steps could there possibly be? And we're right there with you. We're always, every time we finish one thing, we're like, oh, great.
We're like, yes!
Another
and
step.
then it's like, oh, we still got crap more to do.
But all jokes aside, you know, this is always a rewarding thing to do. So remember, when you're building your own boat, it's not about how long it takes. You're talking about the pride of having your own built boat. So
that's why we decided to.
Yeah, so the next step you're going to take is to finish well, we already got part of it done, but we're gonna show you guys the next step, which is to cut and place your final layer of sheet metal that's gonna fill out and finish your deck.
Yep.
Now we are getting our templates placed. We're gonna make some marks here, get them cut to fit roughly close to the shape that we want them. And then we'll go over to the table, get our sheet metal out, make some marks. We'll come back, get some measurements to kind of double check all of our shapes and sizes. And then we'll cut the sheet metal, bring it over, put it into place. But for now, this is what we're doing to get everything set up to cut the sheet metal.
I have no idea.
All right, so as you can see, I have my utility knife. I got most of my line cut for the shape of the boat. As you can see, it's pretty close. With your template, you just want to get it as close as possible to what the shape is you want it to be. And then you'll come back, get your measurements, and kind of fine tune everything at that point. So we'll get this finished up, Matt's doing his side, and then we'll come back.
Bang. Two there. It should bring it up a little bit. I think we can fix that.
Oh, I didn't actually, this is too wide. That'll work. As you guys can see, everything is pretty much fitted and placed into the boat. We'll do a quick walk around of how everything turned out. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Until next time.
Peace.